meeting between Xi and President Trump will be a further opportunity to ensure that tensions are managed. Neither leader has anything to gain by exacerbating tensions. However, this does not mean either will abandon their red lines or programs to enhance their capabilities and compete for global dominance. This includes continuing to build credible collective deterrence with allies and partners in the Indo-Pacific theatre to prevent conflict and achieve stability. This means combining continued US security leadership with regional alliances and partnerships that are also willing to lift their rate of effort on burden sharing, especially in relation to their spending on defence, security, intelligence capabilities, integration and interoperability. Now, while the Indo-Pacific does not have a NATO-style architecture, and nor does it seek one, it does have a working and comprehensive web of bilateral and multilateral alliances and like-minded partnerships. This includes Japan, South Korea, Australia, Philippines, India and ASEAN states, covering both economic and military security. This includes the 5 power defence agreements, the CPTPP, the Quad and even AUKUS. These networks are only as strong as the bonds between each of their members. As Prime Minister of Australia from 2018 to 2022, my government worked assiduously on these relationships, especially with Quad partners, including the AUKUS agreement and the Japan Reciprocal Access Agreement for our defence forces. We achieved the first comprehensive strategic partnership with ASEAN of any nation on the planet. But it was with India where we also saw a dramatic step up in our bilateral relationship. Together with my friend Prime Minister Modi, who I was pleased to see again last night, we took on our bilateral relationship and raised it to its highest level ever, as we saw a convergence of outlook, interests and uniquely responsibilities in the Indo-Pacific. In 2020, this culminated in elevating the relationship to a comprehensive strategic partnership, binding Australia and India to work together more closely on defence, intelligence, maritime security, technology and on securing the supply chains that underpin our economies and our sovereignty. We also put in place the mutual logistics support arrangement, enabling our defence forces to cooperate together more seamlessly. We strengthened cooperation between our security and intelligence agencies. We expanded our naval exercises, including through the Malabar exercise with our Quad partners, the United States and Japan. And in 2022, after many years of effort, we concluded our economic cooperation and trade agreement, opening a new chapter in our economic relationship. Now, during this time, the Quad was also revived at leader level. And Prime Minister Modi and I stood together with our counterparts in the United States and Japan to ensure that our region remains open, stable and sovereign. Now, while the Quad got off to a great start, it does now need a reset. A year ago, Secretary Rubio sensibly refocused the Quad agenda, which I'm pleased included critical minerals cooperation, which I first highlighted at the first in-person Quad meeting in Washington in 2021, as well as maritime domain awareness and infrastructure, such as sea cables and ports. Space would be a great inclusion as well. This reset also needs to happen at the leader level, though. Prime Minister Modi is the only remaining foundational member. New leaders in the US and especially in Japan, most recently, provide a great opportunity to refocus the Quad's efforts at leader level, to lift the tempo of engagement and increase its intentionality. At a leader level, it must meet more frequently and provide for greater unscripted engagement and dialogue to review and set priorities and candidly address current issues within the region. This should include China's increasing presence in the Indian Ocean and India's neighbouring states in Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka and the Maldives. I would extend that also to Myanmar. I trust the next meeting in India, I hope, will be scheduled soon or elsewhere and bring a greater Indo-focus to the Quad's Indo-Pacific dialogue. In conclusion, it is true we live in uncertain times, but the prevailing chaos narrative misses the structural shift underway. The United States is not withdrawing from the world, it is resetting it. The US is demanding that allies carry greater weight. It is rebuilding industrial capacity. It is concentrating strategic focus where long-term competition is most acute in our region, which means the Indo-Pacific. In the Americas, homeland security in the past year has been reinforced. In Europe, burden sharing is accelerating and becoming a reality. In the Middle East, adversarial influence has been and continues to be degraded. And in the Indo-Pacific, the priorities have been established and deterrence is front and centre. The distinction between disruption and decline matters. When that disruption is intended to achieve a positive reset to a more favourable balance in our global order, it should be appreciated and supported by like-mindeds rather than feared and derided. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Honourable Scott J. Morrison, the guest of honour at NXT 2026. Thanks once again for your address. The 30th Prime Minister of Australia speaking to us there on Next in Indo-Pacific. Okay, well, we are now turning to a very special segment for which we are already being joined by a sitting Union Minister of the Government of Bharat to speak about Next in Science. In our next segment, we are very privileged to have with us Union Minister of Bharat for PMO, Department of Space and Atomic Energy, Dr. Jitendra Singh. Dr. Jitendra Singh ji, welcome. Thank you very much for being with us at NXT 2026. We will, of course, be speaking about Next in Science. The session will be moderated by Editor-in-Chief of NewsX, Rishabh Gulati. Also moderating this session will be Senior Executive Editor of NewsX, Megha Sharma. So I, of course, hand the floor over to you, Rishabh and Megha.
Thank you. And at the outset, I must appreciate our heartfelt thanks and appreciation. Dr. Jitendra Singh is a person who understands where this country is going under the leadership of Prime Minister Modi, and the true practical, important necessity of finding solutions for Indian problems the Indian way. So much progress is being made, so much interesting things are happening, and so many of the scientific departments doing them are, of course, in the ministries that he leads. Dr. Jitendra Singh, welcome back to NXT 2026. Great to have you with us.
Thank you very much.
Sir, you know, we have the astronauts with us, and there's so much to talk about on the space.